This is Michael Wilson. We're looking at Psalm 2, and the question is, why are the nations restless and the peoples plotting in vain? So here are the key ideas in Psalm 2. But the question that we start with is, why are the nations restless and the people plotting in vain? This describes our world perfectly, and certainly in North America and the United States. Psalm 2 is a psalm that celebrates the reign of the Lord's anointed, who is also his son, and that is Jesus. Jesus is king, and he's in charge, and God's put him in charge. So the psalm begins with the rhetorical question, why do the nations rebel and plot against the Lord and his anointed? The psalmist describes the futility of their resistance. It's futile, and they don't get it. And so the Lord laughs and scoffs at them and declares his decree. He has installed his king on Zion, his holy mountain. The king then speaks and recounts the Lord's words to him. He is the Lord's son, begotten on a certain day, and will inherit the nations and ends of the earth as his possession. He will rule them with a rod of iron and shatter them like pottery. And the psalmist concludes with a warning and an invitation to the kings and rulers of earth. They should be wise and instructed, serve the Lord with reverence and joy, and kiss the Son, lest he be angry and they perish. The psalm ends with a blessing for those who take refuge in him. So let's dig a little deeper. Why is this important? So this psalm is one of many treasures that's found in the book of Psalms and resonates with timeless truths and profound insights into the nature of God's sovereignty and the triumph of his kingdom. Let's embark on a journey through the verses to uncover this rich inspiration and wisdom. The verses 1 through 3, in the opening verses, we are confronted with the rebellious nature of humanity. We see this, we know this, we feel it deeply in our hearts and souls. The nations are raging against God's authority, seeking to cast off his divine rule. Yet their efforts are in vain. They cannot break the eternal bonds of God's sovereignty. He is in charge. We are not. And so despite the defiance of earthly powers, God remains unshaken. He sits enthroned above the chaos of human rebellion. He's sovereign and he's unwavering. In his divine laughter, now picture this, God is laughing at the futility of human efforts. He reveals that all of our schemes will come to nothing. He declares his ultimate authority, establishing his king who reigns on the holy mountain. And so we witness the revelation of the divine decree. The Son of God, Jesus, begotten from eternity, is promised dominion over all nations. His inheritance spans the entire earth, and his authority is unassailable. With a rod of iron, he will crush the resistance of his enemies, and he established his righteous rule over creation. So in these concluding verses, verses 10 to 12, a solemn exhortation is issued to the rulers of the earth. Now, this is important, and earthly rulers, presidents, dictators, um, premiers, they are called to wisdom and discernment, to acknowledge the supremacy of Jesus and his anointed king. Only by bowing before the Son in reverence and awe can they find refuge from his righteous anger. Blessed indeed are those who seek shelter in the shadow of his throne. So this is inspirational. It resounds with profound truth that transcends time and culture. It paints a vivid picture of the cosmic struggle between rebellion and divine sovereignty, between the kingdoms of this world and the kingdom of God. In the face of earthly tumult and opposition, we find assurance in the unshakable reign of God and his appointed king, Jesus. So in a world marred by chaos and uncertainty, may Psalm 2 serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration for us. May it remind us of the eternal truth that our ultimate refuge lies in the shelter of God's wings. And may we, like the psalmist, declare with confidence how blessed are all who take refuge in Him. So, indeed, in the midst of life's storms, we find solace and strength in the sovereign God who reigns from on high. That's some mighty good news, brothers and sisters.